We're good. Ani, good evening, bonsoir, and welcome to council meeting for a zoning bylaw amendment. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda. Moved by Roger and Bob. All those in favor? Thank you. Any disclosures of pecuniary interests? Seeing none. So this evening, it's a public hearing scheduled for one zoning bylaw amendment, and that's the application number ZBA 23-13FR for the municipality of French River. The Planning Act requires that a public hearing be held before council decides whether or not to pass a zoning bylaw amendment. The public hearing serves two purposes. First, to present to council and to the public the details and background to a proposed rezoning. And second, to receive comments from the public, the agencies, before a council decision is made. Monsieur Dumont will provide a summary of the application. From there, the applicant will be requested to make a presentation, followed by questions from either the public, either in favor or against the proposal. Council will then have the opportunity to question the applicant, the director of planning, or anyone giving presentation. The zoning bylaw amendment will then be considered by council later this evening. So, Monsieur Dumont, would you please advise how public notice was provided?
Thank you. So notice of public hearing was posted within the municipal office and was sent by mail to the assessed owners within the municipality of French River, and subject to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment this evening. And to those persons that reached out to our office specifically, and any agencies likely to have an interest in the application this evening. So we provided extra notice with this particular application. So notices was sent on October 11th of 2023, being over 20 days prior to this evening's meeting. So included with the notice was an explanation of the purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, and a key map showing the entire municipality of French River, showing the location of the extent of the proposed amendment.
Thank you. I now declare this portion of the hearing to be a public hearing to deal with application number ZBA 23-13FR, Municipality of French River. Monsieur Dumont, will you please summarize the proposed effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and provide any additional information and correspondence relevant to the application?
Thank you for that. I just wanted to share, before I go into my report with council this evening, the purpose and intent of this specific application. So the purpose and intent tonight is strictly from a land use zoning perspective. We're looking at specific zones within the municipality of French River zoning bylaw for permissions of short-term rental. So that's the purpose tonight. I just wanted to emphasize that my role with this report going to council tonight. So with that said, in accordance of the Planning Act, this is to advise that the Sudbury Planning Board received a municipally initiated zoning bylaw for short-term rentals in the municipality of French River. The purpose of the municipally initiated bylaw is to update the municipality's zoning bylaw to recognize short-term rentals in residential and commercial areas, and that other definitions be updated as well, including a definition for short-term rentals in the municipality's zoning bylaw. And so that's the purpose and intent. So the zoning bylaw was the most current zoning bylaw was adopted by council in 2014. So to give you some context, the bylaw that's been existing for the municipality has been almost 10 years. So there's been 10 years of small changes. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now, with respect to, so when I'm looking at short-term rentals, I'm looking at two specific documents. I'm looking at the official plan, and then I'm going to touch on the zoning bylaw. So with respect to the official plan for the planning area, specifically your municipality, the primary goal and official plan is to support economic development initiatives that are consistent with the principles of good land use planning. So that's the goal. So the Sudbury East Planning Board and local municipalities recognize that tourism potential of the planning area and the promotion of existing features and amenities to develop high quality attractions and recreational facilities, which are primarily oriented to the waterfront and rural areas. So the plan supports the establishment of new tourism and business development opportunities, including short-term rentals, particularly those related to local and regional tourism and traveling public. So while the current official plan does not contain specific policies regarding the form of short-term rentals accommodations, however, when we initiated the new official plan, which started back in 2017-18 and was recently adopted in 2023 by the municipalities council, the new official plan was adopted. Now, again, we are still waiting for timelines from the province for the official approval. However, I noted that the work that we have, got to this point over the last 5 years incorporated policies specifically for short-term rental accommodations. And that was feedback from the public, feedback from yourself, staff, council, which formed this new document. So I just wanted to share some of the policies or the context that we worked on together through that 5 years to get where we are today, specifically with short-term. So short-term rentals are all or part of a dwelling unit or an accessory structure that is used to provide temporary sleeping accommodation for a rental period that is generally less than 30 days. So that's the purpose behind that. This excludes bed and breakfasts, and it also excludes motels and excludes hotels. Short-term rentals are considered to be a commercial use and can support tourism opportunities in the planning area, provided a wider selection of accommodations, allowing a visitor to live like a local and can make travel more affordable. So that's in the official plan. That's the new language and policy framework we implemented to support the changing times that we are in. Another policy, a few other policies I would like to add that weren't part of the old official plan, but in the new official plan, is another section that says that each local municipality will address short-term rentals in their zoning bylaws. So what that means is the finer details or requirements will be in the zoning bylaw. So, and at a higher level, we support it. At a lower level, the zoning bylaw will get into the details of how that's going to work itself out. So that's what that policy kind of establishes with section 2.6.1.1 of the new official plan. And it also goes on to state the determination of zones where such uses are permitted and provisions to regulate the placement and other site-specific features. Another policy supports that local municipalities may regulate short-term rentals through other tools such as site plan control, which is another tool, and licensing bylaws, which was part of this process. Again, separate process, but you're working towards, as a municipality and council, to that document. So it is important that the municipality of French River continue to ensure that adequate housing options are available while promoting economic development and competitiveness within your municipality. It is in my professional opinion that the application this evening that's in front of council as proposed generally conforms to the intent and policies of the new official plan that we've worked on. Now, so that's the official plan I touched on, the new policies that are implemented that support this proposal. Now I'm going to move forward to the zoning bylaw specifics for your municipality. That's bylaw 2014-23. So a zoning bylaw amendment is required to establish, so the goal is to establish short-term rentals that are permitted in your municipality and to provide a defined use. There are clear differences between a principal dwelling unit in short-term rentals and a non-principal dwelling unit in short-term rentals. And therefore, it should be held to different standards under the bylaw. So in summary, what I have worked on with Andrew Tree with your municipality is I worked on with Andrea a definition, because right now short-term rentals does not exist in the 2014 bylaw. So we have to work on a definition. So we're part of this proposal to include a definition under section 5 of the zoning bylaw, which is short-term rental. So a short-term rental definition that we've worked on back and forth and received legal opinions on is that it means the use of any legal occupancy in a building, structure, or any part thereof that is used to provide sleeping accommodations, including all or part of a dwelling unit, or accessory structure, which is related to the dwelling unit, which may or may not include cooking facilities with or without on-site management through all or part of the year. Short-term rentals shall not include residential accommodation that is rented for excess beyond 30 consecutive days. A bed and breakfast, motel, hotel, horse establishment, campground, group home, rooming house, or similar commercial or institutional accommodation uses are excluded from this definition. So a short-term rental accommodation must be licensed, which is, again, this will tie in separately once, the zones are in place. The licensing will regulate that. Now, when you're incorporating a new use, you also have to consider not only a definition, but you also have to look at parking regulations. So we've also included parking general provisions, 6.35 parking area regulations. We've included a type of building, which will be short-term rental accommodation. And we have included a minimum parking requirement of 1 parking space per guest room. Going on with the amendment will also encompass specifically what types of zones short-term rentals are going to be permitted in. And so I provided just a chart showing the uses that the short-term rental will be in. So I will touch on each use. Be mindful that the zoning bylaw has many, many, many uses. So these are the specific uses that short-term rentals are going to be accepted, in other words. So the first zone is the residential 1 zone. The second zone would be the residential 2 zone. And in each zone, like single family homes are permitted, that are like duplexes, semi-detached dwellings. So these are the type of traditional uses that are within these types of zones. So you have a residential 1 zone, you have a residential 2 zone, we have residential rural zone. We also have the waterfront residential zone. We have one specific commercial zone, which is commercial community, because commercial community, in the way it's written, allows for existing single family homes. Again, short-term rentals speaks to that. So that's going to be included as proposed in the commercial communities specifically. And lastly, the other zone is rural. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 specific zones that short-term rentals will be included with, along with the definition, general provisions, and the permission. As part of this process, I've also reached out to specific agencies. We did receive comments from the Ministry of Transportation. MTO reviewed the submission. They stated that they can confirm while some lands within the municipality of French River are within MTO's permit control area, the proposed zoning amendment will not affect the existing highway network. Therefore, MTO has no concerns with the proposed zoning amendment. And so we received that comment. We also received some comments from some service companies, such as Hydro and Bell, with no issues or concerns. As part of this process, it's a public review. I noted that as staff can speak to this, but we also provided a note with the tax bills to advise everybody about this specific meeting, the public hearings specifically for the zoning. And I haven't personally received, our office, Nancy and I have not received any phone calls or any emails with respect to the proposed amendment for short-term rentals this evening. And with that said, the recommendation I provided to council this evening, the municipality of French River Council, is to approve the application zone change for file ZBA 2313 French River for lands within the municipality of French River, which proposes a general amendment to the current bylaw 2014-23.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the public? I see we have one person here, but this is for zoning. If you want to talk about the licensing, we'll come back to that after this meeting. Seeing none. Questions or comments from members of council? Everybody's comfortable? All right. Since there's no further questions, I declare this public meeting to be concluded. It's now in order for a council member to make a motion and for council to consider the application. So I need a mover and a seconder, Renee and Dave.
Be it resolved that bylaw 2023-56, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2014-23 as amended, municipality of French River, be read a first, second, third time and finally passed.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Please be advised that there is a 20-day appeal period, during which time any person or public body may, no later than 20 days after the day that the giving of the written notice as required by Section 3418 of the Planning Act is completed, appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal by filing with the clerk of the municipality a notice of the appeal, setting out the objections to the bylaw and the reasons in support of such an objection, accompanied by the fee prescribed under the Ontario Land Tribunal. During this appeal, no building permit may be issued or other work commenced. So I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Dean and Willie. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you, council.